Business owners and leaders, Rob Marshallonis here with LSP123. I help businesses increase employee productivity. I'm sharing some productivity solutions with you, and the one I'd like you to think about right now is the idea of critical outcomes. Critical outcomes. I'd like you to think about what are the top or most important or strategic objectives that you must accomplish in your organization over some period of time. Critical outcomes can be different things. They can be numeric goals, some numbers and metrics that you're targeting. They could be some milestone events, something you want to happen or a level you want to achieve. Or it just could be different accomplishments, whatever they might look like in your organization, as a way to help you define critical outcomes. People sometimes get confused with critical outcomes and where it fits. And one way I describe this is I see critical outcomes resting somewhere between your vision, your long-term dream destination for your business or organization, and your daily action items, right? Or your weekly action items. Critical outcomes are somewhere in the middle. And so with that in mind, the way I like to help leaders think through critical outcomes is what are the 2 to 4 critical objectives that you'd like to accomplish over a period of time. Typically with critical outcomes, I will suggest 6 months to 18 months. So that can vary depending on your business and where you're at in the business cycle, but 2 to 4 things to accomplish in the next 6 to 18 months, right? The neat thing about critical outcomes is it puts the emphasis, it puts the focus on outputs and results, outputs and results, as opposed to inputs and intentions. Sometimes as leaders, we get so hung up on inputs and intentions, and we spend way more time on that side of the equation than we do on focusing on the outputs and the results. To help you define critical outcomes a little bit further, what I've done is I've identified 6 categories. So I'd like you to think about these as you're determining the critical outcomes for yourself and your organization. And I'll just run through these quickly. 6 critical outcome categories. Number 1, risk management. Where is your business at risk, and what do you need to do, your business, your employees, your customers, and what do you need to do to address that? Number 2, stakeholder satisfaction. Who are all the people groups that are impacted by your business, and how well are you considering them and taking care of them, and what results are you getting? Number 3, financial results. Somewhat obvious, but not surprising that you might have some financial results among your critical outcomes. Number 4, productivity improvement. Where do you have opportunities to increase your productivity, to reduce or eliminate waste and increase productivity or output? Number 5, growth. Where and how do you want to grow? And number 6, I like to throw this in, is personal development as a critical outcome. Very often you have people in your organization that need to or they need to develop in some way, or you would significantly benefit if these people in your business would somehow personally develop. So those are 6 categories. One final thought is a way to leverage critical outcomes is to begin at the top of the organization, and then from the top critical outcomes, you can cascade outcomes down to the different work groups or different leaders you have in the business. And so that's one way for you to multiply your critical outcomes. I don't know what your business or organization looks like, but imagine if you had yourself and 5 other key leaders. Well, if you had 6 total leaders, yourself and 5 others, and they each had 3 critical outcomes, you in total would have 18 critical outcomes identified and ownership established, and a way for you to divide and conquer this whole simple idea of critical outcomes. My goal is just to share some productivity solutions with you so that your business, your organization, your department, and yourself can be more